by young punks who think that they can get together in gangs and crews and beat the hell out of you or anyone else. They don't care where they are. They can be in DuPont Circle, but they know that we can't touch them. Why? Because the laws are weak. I can't touch you if you're 14, 15, 16, 17 years old and you have a gun. I convict someone of shooting another person with an illegal gun on a public bus in the chest, intent to kill. I convict him. And you know what the judge gives him? Probation. Says you should go to college. We need to go after the D.C. Council and their absurd laws. We need to get rid of this concept of, no cash bail. We need to recognize that the people who matter are the law-abiding citizens. And it starts today. But it's not going to end today, because the president is going to do everything we need to do.
All right, y'all. One thing we need to understand right away. Why are they coming into our cities? Why are they so desperate to bring troops into our cities? They claim it's to fight gangs. Understood. But when it's all said and done, these troops gonna remain in our cities for what? For what reason? Today we gonna figure out why, biblically, are they in our cities. Now, if we go, our first scripture we gonna go to is Jeremiah 50:33 says, "Thus said the Lord of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together," saying we are oppressed together. All throughout the cities, all throughout the states, we oppressed together. They all treat us together. They treat us alike. We all in the same boat. From the so-called Mexicans and Native American to the tribe of Judah, Levite, every single tribe that's located in America, we all treated alike. Now they hide a lot of this a lot of pretenses under the whole immigration situation. Was behind that. But according to the scriptures, we gonna dive a little deeper today, biblically, to see why are they really trying to bring these troops in. Why are they so desperate to bring these troops in? What's ahead of us? What's going to happen to this economy? Let's continue.
To make sure that these emboldened criminals understand, we see you, we're watching you, and we're going to change the law to catch you. And my final note is this. These kids understand that the jurisdiction is through the state attorney general, Brian Schwab. I did a poster of the young man from Doge who was beaten bloody with a severe concussion, a broken nose. And then I did a poster of what happens to those kids, because I can't arrest them, I can't prosecute them. They go to family court, and they get to do yoga and arts and crafts. Enough. It changes today. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Jim.
You're welcome.
Great job.
So y'all notice they also putting great emphasis on this no cash bail situation too. When we go back to that scripture and we read Jeremiah 50:33, it says, "Thus said the Lord of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together, and all that took them captive held them fast. They refused to let them go," showing you that they put different jurisdictions and different laws into place to basically keep the children of Israel captive, mentally and physically. Everything from physically enslaving us, as in your prison systems, and also mentally, like for instance, your child support system. A man don't pay his child support, he gets put in jail. Or if he don't pay his child support, he gets his license took, he gets everything revoked. Well, How could he pay that support if all of that stuff is suspended? So they oppress us alike, and they refuse to let us go.
Thank you. If I could, I just signed some executive orders. I'd like to have Will please come up and we'll let the people know what we signed. Do you want to put them down?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
A short while ago in the Oval Office, President Trump signed two crucial executive actions to deal with the emergency crime conditions we currently face in the District of Columbia. The first of these was an executive order, as President Trump said before, invoking his powers under Section 40 of the Home Rule Act to take federal control of the D.C. Metropolitan Police Department. Along with that executive order, President Trump signed the statutorily required notification letters to Mayor Bowser and to the relevant House and Senate committee leaders. The second major executive action that President Trump signed was a presidential memorandum directing the Secretary of Defense to utilize the National Guard to address the conditions we see on our streets here in D.C. It also authorized the Secretary of Defense to work with state governors to utilize their National Guard units if necessary as well. These are bold, decisive steps intended to combat the out-of-control crime conditions we've seen on D.C.'s streets for far too long, and I, for one, am deeply proud to be part of an administration that's finally coming to terms with these issues, sir.
Thank you, Will. So, just to conclude, Washington, D.C. should be one of the safest, cleanest, most beautiful places anywhere in the world. It was years ago. We had one problem that was a pretty big problem. The radical left got out of control and they started trying to rip down statues. And I said, let's go pass a law real fast. We're going to do it real fast, but we were blocked by the Democrats who do not want safety. Nobody gets it. I don't get it. They don't get it because they can't get votes. I don't know how they can win an election with this, but they don't want safety. And I found an old statute, very old, early 1900s, that said if you so much as touch or even think about destroying a statue or a monument in Washington, D.C., you go to jail for 10 years with no probation, no anything. In other words, slightly different than we have today. Today we have cashless bail. There you get jailed 10 years. No curtailed sentence, 10 years. And we took it out. Nobody used it. It was never used because, it's harsh.
So what is it, to make all these new laws so you could find a way to lock up the poor, find an easier way to justify unaliveness? What is this? So let's go to another scripture, y'all. Isaiah. We're going to go to Isaiah 42 and 22. So we see the plan that they're trying to do. All right. It says, but this is a people robbed and spoiled. They took everything from us. Everything from our riches, language, heritage, everything. But this is a people robbed and spoiled. They are all of them snared in holes, and they are hid in prison houses. Exactly. The Most High telling you the plan that Esau have for the poor, especially for the children of Israel. They're all hid in prison houses, meaning that's where they plan to put us. At the end of the day, they want every black, Hispanic, and Native in prison, especially those of strength. They are for prey and none delivered, for spoil and none said restore. We have nobody saying restore. These people bringing in troops. They bringing in National Guards. Nobody saying restore. Nobody saying give us back our riches. Nobody saying give us reparations. Nobody saying tell these people who they are and stop continuously raping them for hundreds of years. Verse 24. Who gave Jacob for spoil and Israel to the robbers? Did not the Lord? So we got to understand that the Most High gave us over to the robbers for breaking his law, statutes, and commandments and not doing what he required, for not being obedient. He against whom we have sinned, for they would not walk in his ways, neither were they obedient unto his law. Therefore, he hath poured upon him the fury of his anger and the strength of his battle. And that's exactly what we're going through. We are witnessing part of the strength of the Most High battle. We're witnessing the strength of the Most High anger against the children of Israel for disobeying his law. It's a generational curse, y'all. The more we disobey the Most High laws, the more generations gonna be destroyed coming up. We got to get it right. In the strength of his battle, and it has set him on fire round about, yet he knoweth not. So we don't know that it's the Most High doing this. It's the Most High that allowed these people to unalive us. It's the Most High that allowed these people to push these laws. It's the Most High that got us in these poor communities. It's the Most High that got us in this situation. But we don't know. Yet he knows not. And it burneth him. It's burning us. Yet he laid it not to heart. We don't take it to heart. We don't take it to heart. We continue to stay in these Christian churches, staying in these pagan holidays, claiming we following Christ. Come on.
And you remember they started to rip down the statue of Abraham.
Are you worried that using your home address for business?
He was pretty good, Pam. I think he was pretty good. When the ropes started going around Abraham Lincoln to pull him down, Andrew Jackson, others, and they were heading to the Jefferson Memorial, Thomas Jefferson. They're going to do a big number there. I said, it's time. And I signed that statute immediately. We had it updated. We made it use the same language, all passed by Congress. And I announced it's 10 years in jail, no probation, no anything, 10 years, no curtail sentence if you so much as touch a statue in Washington, D.C. And it was an amazing sight, beautiful sight. Everybody just left. The ropes were hanging around Andrew Jackson, and there were two ropes around Abraham Lincoln. They left the rope. But everybody just left, and that was the last problem we ever had. You know, that was the last problem that we ever had with the statues. They were going wild, and somebody came to me and said, sir, in 1910, I don't want to give you an exact, because you'll say, Donald Trump gave us wrong dates around like early on. You know, if I'm slightly off, they make you sound a little bad, so I won't put myself in that position. I won't put you in that position, because I think everybody agrees with what we're doing today. But when I signed that thing, it was like a miracle. Everybody left. They were gone. They were starting to march down. They started the march toward Thomas Jefferson. And I figured he was always going to be safe. But they found something with him, and they found something with Abraham Lincoln. And even in the name George Washington in California, numerous places changed the name of George Washington High School and various other places. They took George Washington's name. This was a sick, woke culture that I think we've largely ended. And a lot of those people that were woke are now turning out to be the opposite. I won't go so far as to say MAGA. It's a very special category. But they've gotten out of that. But we have people that love this country, and they love this really beautiful capital. It is. I flew over it the other day, and I said, what a beautiful place. But if there's crime all over the streets, when you get there, it doesn't look so beautiful. But we're going to make it beautiful again. We're going to fix it with crime, and we're going to also, as we're doing that, we're going to start doing things that we know how to do, that I know how to do better than anybody, I guess, because of my experience from previous life. But not only are we stopping the crime, we're going to clean up the trash and the graffiti and the grime and the dirt and the broken marble panels and all of the things they've done to hurt this city. And we're going to restore the city back to the...
Y'all, don't forget to like and subscribe, alright? Share this video. Appreciate it. It don't cost nothing.
gleaming capital that everybody wants it to be. It's going to be something very special. All of these people are really talented. Could I shake your hand, Gaddy, please? You're going to be so important here. You're going to be that guy. I hope I don't have to fire him in 2 weeks because he's too soft. I don't think he's too soft. If I do, I will, though. Is it okay? If you're soft, weak, and pathetic, like so many people, I will fire you so fast. You're not going to have to worry about that. No, I think you're going to do a fantastic job. And everybody in this room, they may not express it, but they all want that to happen. You know, they want to be safe, and they have families too. So it's an honor to have such a large...
You notice they like, we need to be safe from these hoodlums. Look what Trump be saying about black folks, y'all. Y'all really pay attention to what they be saying. Come on, but guess what? Edomites be doing the most horrible crime. Look what just happened to Charlie. That's white on white. That's a white on white crime. I don't care what nobody say. We ain't the only ones doing crime. Clean up the city from everybody. But you notice they always mentioning a certain race or a certain people. No doubt about it, y'all. Come on.
I've done this for years now. Hard to believe. I've never seen this room so packed. In fact, I'm sure it's a violation of every fire code. But we'll let you stay anyway. You're taking a chance. And with that, we'll say, maybe if you could. Oh, wow. We could be here all day long. If we could keep the first questions perhaps to this subject, and then we'll go on to a few others. Please.
Mr. President, thank you so much. Can you talk about how personal of an issue this is? You talked about flying over the Washington Monument and seeing the pride of what D.C. is. Do you believe that the status of the city, the cleanliness, the way that crime is low, is a direct reflection on how the country is run?
Yeah, I do. I think the Capitol, look, everyone comes here. They're all coming. All the leaders, they're all wanting to come. And I say it, I've said it again, but I'm really just quoting other leaders from NATO, from the Middle East, King of Saudi Arabia, Qatar, UAE. I was over there. We brought back $5.1 trillion of investment into our country. But I was, a month and a half ago, I was at NATO. We had a great thing. They agreed to put up 5% instead of 2%. 2% they didn't pay, 5% is already paid. We had a great meeting, and they all said the same thing. They said our country was dead. They thought our country was gone. 1 year ago, they said your country was dead. And now you have the hottest country anywhere in the world. We do. We have the hottest country in the world right now. The tariffs have helped. It's given us not only the money, it's billions, trillions of dollars of money, but it gives us great power over enemies. We solved 5 wars with Pakistan and India. We just solved one. Azerbaijan and, as you know, and Armenia. A war was raging for 37 years. And the 2 leaders got up and they said, we never thought this would be solved. Russia tried to solve it. They all tried to solve it. It was a very tough situation, but we got it done. And I said to the 2 men, I said, are you guys friends? And they had a hard time. You know, they've been killing each other for 37 years, right? One was there 5 years, one was there for 22 years. He said, my whole life I've been fighting this war, and you got it solved. But we did many of those. We did in the Congo and Rwanda. That's been going on for 30 years. 8 to 9 million people killed that they know of, but it was raging, and we got that solved. We got a lot of them done. It's a great honor. But you want to have, when they come, the leaders come to our country to sign documents that the war is over or whatever, or for other reasons. They come for trade. And you want them to come through so beautifully. You ride down those roads, everything should be perfect. You shouldn't have medians falling down into the roadway. Median, you know, the metal things that are always, somebody had a great lobbyist, because I've never seen them look good. I've been looking at those things with the little, right? They're always broken and bad, but here they're really bad. And we're going to either put new or fix it. And it's not expensive. It's not really expensive. And we're going to fix our roads a little bit. We're going to clean up our sidewalks. You have countries where every Saturday, the people go out and they wash their sidewalks in front of their stores or their houses. They scrub their sidewalks. So we aren't quite at that level yet, I don't think, Gaddy. We're not quite there yet, but maybe we will. They go out and they scrub. I think it's so beautiful to hear that and to see those stories. But we're going to make it clean. But just to finish with your question, it's a very, very strong reflection of our country. And when they see a bad city, you know, my father always used to tell me, I had a wonderful father, very smart, and he used to say, son, when you walk into a restaurant and you see a dirty front door, don't go in. Because if the front door is dirty, the kitchen's dirty also. Same thing with the Capitol. If our Capitol's dirty, our whole country is dirty, and they don't respect us. So it's a very good question, actually.
Mr. President, sorry. Question for you on the specific issue. Do you expect more cities to follow DC's path if this goes through? So the idea is that Chicago, LA, San Francisco, would they expect similar action what we've seen in DC? Any other questions, sir? There's reporting that the administration is going to reclassify marijuana. Would that send mixed messages that if marijuana is okay, some drugs are okay, but we're trying to clean up crime? How do they go hand in hand?
We're only looking at that. That's early, but you know, somebody reported it, which is fine. We're looking at it. Some people like it. Some people hate it. Some people hate the whole concept of marijuana because if it does bad for the children, it does bad for people that are older than children. But we're looking at reclassification, and we'll make a determination over the next few weeks. And that determination hopefully will be the right one. It's a very complicated subject, the subject of marijuana. I've heard great things having to do with medical, and I've had bad things having to do with just about everything else. But medical and, for pain and various things, I've heard some pretty good things, but for other things, I've heard some pretty bad things. The other part of your question, I mean, we're just going to see what happens with it all. We're going to have a tremendous success in what we're doing. Other cities are hopefully watching this. They're all watching, just like everyone's watching here. They're all.
What do he mean we gonna see what just happened, what happens to it all? I'm telling y'all, prepare. What is he waiting for? Why are they pushing troops everywhere? This dude was like, he named like 5 different cities.
Watching, and maybe they'll clean up, and maybe they'll do this and get rid of the cashless bail thing and all of the things that caused the problem. I mean,
see that? So if the governor don't approve with it and the city don't approve with it, they're like, you know what? Okay, we'll go to another city or another governor that's gonna be okay with the troops coming in. And I told you they was gonna mention that cashless bail again. They hooked up on this National Guard situation and cashless bail. Why? They're planning on locking people up. The scriptures say they refuse to let us go. Now you bringing troops in. What are you bringing these troops in for?
if you go back, this whole thing with cashless bail is a disaster. So many problems came that we never had before. So they're watching us today, and if they don't learn their lesson, if they haven't studied us properly, because we're going to be very successful. I have zero doubt about that. It's going to be. It's a question of will it be really fast like the border. You know, everyone said, they used to say, Biden used to say, I need legislation. I didn't get any legislation. I called up our people, and we did a great job. Tom Homan was great. As you know, our secretary did a great job. They did a great job. There's no games. They didn't play games. And we're going to have the same thing here. But then I'm going to look at New York in a little while. Let's do this. Let's do this together. Let's see. It's going to go pretty quickly. And if we need to, we're going to do the same thing in Chicago, which is a disaster. We have a mayor there who's totally incompetent. He's an incompetent man. And we have an incompetent governor there. Pritzker's an incompetent. His family threw him out of the business, and he ran for governor. And now I understand he wants to be president. But I noticed he lost a little weight, so maybe he has a chance. You know, you never know what happens. But Pritzker's a gross incompetent guy, thrown out of the family business. But when I look at Chicago and I look at L.A., if we didn't go to L.A. 3 months ago, L.A. would be burning like the part that didn't burn. If he would have allowed the water to come down, which I told him about in my first term, I said, you're going to have problems. Let it come down. We actually sent it.
You see how they really trying to push? So that's Chicago, L.A., and I heard Memphis today. All right, that's 3. You got New York. That's 4, right? That's four cities. And I also definitely heard that they're pushing this whole narrative like, okay, the troops are there for good. They're there. Come on, it's the same old trick Esau always had to pull, y'all. Think about what they did to the native. Think about what they did to the tribe of Gad. They came in, gave them smallpox. We know Esau come as the angel of light. We know Saint come as the angel of light. He a liar. He always been a liar from the beginning. But we gonna dig a little deeper. Come on, bear with me.
Our military to have the water come down into L.A. They still didn't want it to come down after the fires. But that was it. We have it coming down. But hopefully L.A.'s watching. That mayor also. The city's burning. They lost like 25,000 homes. I went there the day after the fire.
If you want to drop your auto insurance
Down home. It was, their homes were incinerated. They weren't like, even the steel was literally, it was all warped and literally disintegrated because of the winds and the flame and the whole thing, like a blowtorch. They were standing on this beautiful day, maybe a couple of days after. We gave it a little time because what they had suffered. Almost 25,000 homes. And you see what's happening now. They didn't give their permits. I went to a town hall meeting. I said, we're going to get you the federal permits, which are much harder. Almost immediately. Lee Zeldin is a star. He did an incredible job. They have all their federal permits. They don't have their city permits. And the mayor said to me, we think we can have them in 2 years. I was walking down the street, and I met with firemen and police. And I was saying hello to many people that were standing in front of their homes with yellow tape. You can't go in. You can't go onto the lot. And those people wanted to start rebuilding their homes then and there. And the mayor said, we should be able to get them the permits within 2 years. I said, that's a shame. 2 years? Are you kidding? I'm going to get them the federal permit like almost immediately. 2 years. And she drew it back. Well, maybe 1 year. The place was booing her out of the place. They don't have their permits to build their homes. And now they're talking about putting, this is among the most beautiful areas was in the country. Now they're talking about putting low-income housing there. Can you believe this? I love low-income housing. I made money with low-income housing. I built low-income housing. I know more about low-income housing and luxury housing. I know about everything real estate. They want to replace some of those homes with low-income housing. They haven't gotten their permits yet. We've gotten all the federal permits, which are much tougher to get. And it was done almost immediately through Lee Zeldin and federal.
There they go. We gonna bring in troops. We gonna pass all of these new bills and all of this stuff. And then we gonna feed y'all crumbs. Like the usual. Feed us crumbs. Feel me? Feed us crumbs just like everything else.
environmental. And I watched the other day, those people are angry. And now, you know, they had tremendous, they loved that area. They loved the whole big area, different places, but they loved it. It was all luxury stuff and beautiful stuff. And some wasn't that luxury, but the level of love for that neighborhood, their neighborhoods, was incredible. And you know what? I watched people on television, they want to go, they want to leave. They've lost their spirit, they've lost their heart, because the mayor's incompetent. And Gavin Newsom is incompetent. He's got a good line of bullshit, but that's about it. He's incompetent. And you have Los Angeles is, you know, it's amazing. You know, I called, the first thing I did, I got the Olympics to go there. I was the one that got it. And by a rare thing that happened, I'll be the president. I was very upset because I got the Olympics there, and I said I won't be president when it comes, but bad things happened, and illegal things happened, really illegal things happened. Now it turns out one good thing was I'm going to be the president for the Olympics for 2050, for 250, which is going to be fantastic, and also for the World Cup. So we have a lot of good things, and I hope 250 is going to be the 250th anniversary is going to be the best. But when I looked at those people, and I saw last night on television that they still don't have their permits, it's a disgrace what's happened in Los Angeles.
Thank you. The China tariff deadline is tonight, but do you plan to extend that?
We'll see what happens. China's been, we've been dealing very nicely with China, as you probably have heard. They have tremendous tariffs that they're paying to the United States of America. And we'll see what happens. They've been dealing quite nicely. The relationship is very good with President Xi and myself.
You mentioned your upcoming meeting with President Putin. Can you tell us what you hope to get out of that and whether you consider inviting President Zelensky to join?
So you have to understand, this is a war that should have never happened. This is a war that wouldn't have happened if I were president. Would have never happened. It was the apple of his eye. I got along very well with President Putin. But if you look, under President Bush, they took a lot of territory. Under President Obama, they took a lot of territory. Under Biden, they essentially took the whole thing. You know, it's just a question of time. Under Trump, you know what they took? Nothing. I was the one that said, you can't build your pipeline. That was half built. I came in, I stopped the pipeline. It's called Nord Stream 2. Nobody knows that, you know. Nobody ever heard of Nord Stream 2. You might have not even heard it. Biggest pipeline in the world. I stopped it. I was not a friend of Russia, but I got along well with Putin. It's always good to get along with other countries if possible, but that doesn't mean you roll over like Biden did. Biden came in and he immediately approved the pipeline. I couldn't believe it. Then they say Trump wasn't tough on Russia. I wasn't tough. I was the toughest. Putin said, if you're not tough, I would hate like hell to see you visit. I stopped.
So, we clearly see what this is all about. They see times is about to get hard. They see it's about to be lack of food, lack of water. Christ is literally on his way back, y'all. And they see this. They see the stock market is a no-go. Babylon the Great is falling. They trying to find a way out. They trying to find a fix. But they know the fact that they destroyed the country, the citizens of the country is going to stand up. The citizens of the country going to riot. Especially the poor. That's why they aiming after the poor. That's why they refuse to what? Let us go. But now we about to dive into the scriptures again. Let's go to 2nd Esdras. This is the Apocrypha. All right, so if you guys don't know, the Apocrypha is in the King James 1611 Bible. It falls right in the middle of it. All right. The Roman Catholic Church, you usually find the Apocrypha in there. All right, but this is the Apocrypha. King James Apocrypha is 2nd Esdras 15 and 15 to show you what they're preparing for. And they know this, and they refuse to tell us this information. That's why the scripture says it's a fire that burns round about, but we don't know where it's coming from. We don't know that the Most High is actually the one that's given the authorization for this stuff. 2nd Ezra 15:15 say, for the sword and their destruction draweth not, and one people shall stand up to fight against another people. So that's why everybody getting ready for these race wars, right? And swords in their hands. What's the swords now? The swords now is guns. So these are people running around with guns. All right? They know this. This is the last days. They know this is talking about the last days, y'all. Verse 16, for there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes. So ain't nobody gonna be saying, man, I wonder what Trump think about me invading or doing what I have to do to survive. Doing what I have to do to make it happen. And you know us, we gonna do what we have to do as a people to survive. In the course of their actions to stand in their own hands. So everybody action gonna be in their own hands. And they ain't gonna care about what nobody talking about. And the National Guard is here. Why? Because verse 17 say, a man should desire to go into a city and should not be able. Why? Because these cities going to be blocked off. They going to be closed off. All your cones everywhere. They practicing for the stuff already. They been practicing. What you think the whole COVID alert was for? They been practicing. Verse 17 says, a man should desire to go into a city and should not be able. What men? What men? This is not talking about rich folks. This is talking about poor folks. How do we know? And that's why he bringing the troops in, y'all. Why? Verse 18 say, for because of their pride, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, and houses shall be destroyed, and man shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods because of lack of bread and for great tribulation. So we know this is talking about poor folks. So they claim it's behind gangs. They claim it's because of gangs. But it's not for gangs. They bringing the troops in for poor folks. And they just hiding it behind, oh, they're hoodlums and hooligans and gang members and immigrants. That's what they doing. They hiding it behind that. But it's for the poor. Why? Because the scriptures in 2nd Ezra 15 and 19 say, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of lack of bread and for great tribulation. For verse 20 say, yes. So that's it right there. That's it right there. A man should desire to go into a city and should not be able for lack of bread and for great tribulation. So they gonna close off the cities. Why? Is it the dollar crashing? Is it the stock market crashing? Is it going to be another medical virus spread it? What's going to happen to the economy for them to shut off and close off these streets? What's going to happen, guys? Leave the comments. Leave your comments. Let me know what you think. I would really like to know. With that, I'm Israelite Charity. Keep hope, faith, love, because without charity, there's no Christ. And without Christ, there's no love. Shalom.